All right, everybody. Welcome to the Clean AF Power Couple Podcast, episode 3, I believe we're at.
We are on 3. Can we flip this in the front instead?
There we go.
A little technical change. All right.
Yep. Oh, you can't bump the table like that.
So this is very real life. I just need to cross my legs.
All right. So again, we apologize for the wait between these episodes. We're really trying to get these in closer together.
Let's just be frank, okay? We have a kid home with us, right? It's quarantine time, and we would have to wake up pretty early. We'd have to podcast early, which I don't know if you'd get the best version of us.
4 a.m, yeah. I don't know what kind of thoughts I'll have at 4 a.m.
It might be better. Stay up all night and podcast?
Maybe. We're not night owls, though. We go to bed at like 9:30.
We do. Old people.
And if we stay up till 10:30, she's all like, last night was ridiculous staying up that late. I'm like, what are you talking about?
You guys, I get tired early. I need to go to bed. And Ruxin and Dennis have been playing Zelda till all hours of the night. Zelda, 11 p.m.
Breath of the Wild on Nintendo Switch is awesome. I'm not a gamer by any means whatsoever, but the game's sweet.
He's a gamer now.
It's turning me into one.
All right.
So
get to what we're here to get.
I'm going to lead it off. So, as with our other podcast, which is only our third one, but
we have so many.
We kind of do this off the cuff. Like, we don't really plan these out. We just kind of like whatever's hot on our mind. Like,
it's a minimal idea we come in with.
Yeah, it's like the day of kind of thing. So today I was listening to a podcast. So I apologize if I always spin off someone else's podcast. Sorry, Tom Bilyeu, but he gives me inspiration.
I feel like most people who have podcasts have something else that strikes their fire and then they draw inspiration from. So I feel like that's fine to do.
Right. So, but this is like our spin on what I heard. So I don't remember his guest name because I just like heard his name today, but he was talking about this story. He had the story of this guy that he was kind of a derelict, kind of a screw up kind of guy, not going to his classes. He was about to flunk out of school. His parents obviously were not too happy about that. But they encouraged him to take his SATs. They said, you need to at least take your SATs. We want you to just go do that. So we said, all right, yeah. So he goes ahead, does his SAT, goes to take the test. Didn't, plan on much, didn't plan on a big score, didn't plan on doing very well on it. He tried to cheat but couldn't because I guess I never actually took one of those, but
no, we did ACT.
Yeah. So anyways, he takes the test, right? He gets the score back. It's was like a 1480 out of like 1600 or something like that. I don't know how SATs work whatsoever, but apparently that's like an amazing score, right? Tom Bilyeu, the guy that the podcast I was listening to, he's like, just so you guys know, for you listening, like I had like a 9.
Use listening.
Use listening. We're from the Midwest here. Sorry, use guys. He had like a 900 something. So this is a very high score, right? So he gets his high score and he's like, holy crap. And his mom's like, what? He's like, I got a 1470. And she's like, how did you do that? He's like, I don't know. She's like, did you cheat? He's like, no, I tried to and you can't. So that he basically believed that maybe he's got this gift of, maybe test taking and just like this knowledge he didn't know he really had, just like subconsciously had this knowledge just in him. And he started believing that. So he's like, started trying in school. So his senior year, he goes to school, starts attending all of his classes. He gets a new group of friends, like ones that actually like care about school and their grades, ends up doing very well, finishing out school. Goes on to community college, does well with that, goes on to university, ends up going to Ivy League school. I don't know which one, but the dude went to Ivy League school, very successful, made good money, did awesome in life. All stemming from this. Like he just had that belief that he is smart, he can do it. So 12 years after this test, he gets this random like email from whatever company run these SATs. I don't know if it's a company or how this works.
SAT company.
Yeah. I should have took notes on this podcast while I was driving.
No, this is just a preface for like what we're going to talk about.
But come to find out, 12 years later, they like must go back and relook at some of these scores and these tests. And come to find out, his test that he got back, the score he got back, was the wrong one. Like back when he did this, there was like 13 tests that got mixed up or something happened. He ended up getting the wrong score back. That was not his score. His actual score was like a 700 something. So his whole life did a complete 180 based off of something that he just basically believed. Like he didn't actually do well on the test at all. Like he actually did horrible on it, but he thought he did well on it, and just that thought alone carried him to where he is now. So he looks back at it thinking, you know what? That test score didn't change my life. It was the belief of that test score that changed my life. He thought he was a 1480 or whatever he had, 1470, 1480 score person when he was actually a 700 something person. But he believed he was. He didn't know that that test was messed up. So just that belief alone pushed him, catapulted him into greatness basically. And I heard that, I'm like, holy shit. And I kind of knew about that stuff, like the limiting thoughts and like just thinking about what you want and just like trying to manifest it and actually believing what you want to do.
Right.
But hearing that story is like, oh my God, it hit me like hard. And like, I came home and I told Dina like right away about the story.
Ran in the door and told me.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
yeah.
So that's where we're going to talk about today is like having the belief in you and acting a certain way that whatever you want to do, you have to act like that person before you're that person.
Correct. So as Dennis said too, this wasn't like a new concept, but for whatever reason, like everything that we see, everything we hear, it's all handed to you on the perfect day at the perfect time. Because you've probably heard stories like this before, right? But they didn't hit you as hard as what it did today.
Right.
So almost hearing it again.
Well, I think it hit me, like it really resonated with me because I was not good in school. I was probably who he was before he got that test score back. Now, what did that happen to me? I probably would have changed my whole outlook on school and maybe done a whole lot better and done better things. Not that I needed to go to college to become a successful person or anything like that, but just having the belief that I am smart. Because actually on this wall right here, if you're watching this on YouTube, one of my limiting beliefs is that I'm not smart enough to do things. That was like my biggest thing because I didn't do good in school. And I just thought, I can't have those things that successful people have because I'm just not smart enough. Like I put that label on myself.
Right. So we started talking about, there's a lot of things too that you can like take that podcast and trickle it into real life. We were just talking about, so I'm not going to say these words outside of here because I'm really going to make an effort not to, but our son Ruxin, we're doing homeschooling now, and he has like the attention span of a squirrel. Is that right? Attention span of a squirrel? Yeah, that's reference.
Or a gnat.
Yeah, whatever. It's tiny, like minuscule. And me repeating those words like, oh, your attention span is so short, or me repeating it to like Dennis's mom, and just him hearing those words over and over again could very much be something that he's in high school and he's like, well, I can't pay attention because I have the attention span of this, right? Like he's hearing it all the time, whether it's from teachers at school, parents now at home, or hearing it about him as people are talking about him. And that's like the story he starts to tell. I have an attention span of this, therefore that's a limiting belief. And that could very much spiral into real life. So I think about like so many things, like besides just school, these are conversations like that you could bring home to your kids, because words matter and words make such a huge difference. So making sure we're not bringing that negativity onto them. And then not only saying the words out loud, but God, I think about all that self-talk we do. Like when you're walking by a mirror and saying like, oh my gosh, you look so much heavier. Or stepping on a scale, right? And saying, I'll never lose weight. Like, and even though you're not saying those words out loud to yourself, you're having those like triggering thoughts. And what happens? You start to believe that, right? Like I always say, honestly, a great one is I always say I'm a binger. So the second there's like cookies or something, which we try really hard not to have that shit in the house because otherwise we both eat it. But then I'm like, oh, I'm a binger. So what am I doing? Shoveling cookies in, even though like I'm making that choice to do it.
Right.
But it's that mindset you put yourself in. Dennis is clicking ads. He's getting annoyed here. Distracted. What's your story? I'm ADD?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we just started talking about today how mindset makes such a huge difference. And I think something that I've been trying really hard for, so within our company, and we were kind of talking on whether we were all going to talk about our company or not, but I am because it's real life and this is a real life podcast. So I think about for us, like we're wanting to work up within our ranks within our company. And my goal this year is to get to like a 7. I know that means shit to you guys, but I'm just trying to put it into perspective. But I started asking myself, well, yeah, if you think you can get there, why would you reference being just a 7? So in my mind, when I'm maybe feeling too lazy to do tasks for the day, maybe getting annoyed of my phone messaging, maybe even in a scenario where I'm donating money when the store asks, hey, do you want to add $5 to your tab or for this donation? I always think in my mind, what would rank 8 Dana do? Right? So leveling yourself up. Maybe there's that extra job you want to have at work. Maybe it's...
Right. So right now, as we sit, we're rank 5.
Correct. Yes,
and
I
we're
should
talking
phrase that.
as
Rank
you are
8.
a rank 8.
Rank 8. So it's kind of having any big goal. A marathoner. What would Marathon Dana do? Like speaking as though this guy, we don't know his name in the podcast, was referencing in his mind, he was a high performer in school. So what did he become? A high performer in school. So it's putting yourself in that place of who do you want to be and then setting up your mindset to be that person.
Yeah. Who do you want to be and start acting like that person would act? I mean, it's you're basically planting that idea into your subconscious mind, and eventually your subconscious mind is going to start doing things that person would do subconsciously. So like maybe in the beginning, like you said, like you have to
it's forced in the
you
beginning.
have to actually you literally have to think about like, hey, what would rank 8 Dana do? Like
it's a mouthful even saying it.
Yeah. What would rank 8 Dana? I can't say it. Oh my god.
Rank 8 Dana do.
Yeah, what would she do? And then you ask yourself that, and then
what would that bitch do?
And then you go ahead and do that action. Now, over time, if you continue to do that, pretty soon you're going to start just acting like a rank 8 Dana, and
Correct.
You're going to be a rank 8 Dana. Like it's just going to happen. You're planting that in your subconscious mind to get there.
Absolutely, it becomes second nature. It's kind of the same concept too when, say you want to purchase something and it's more money than what you normally would spend on something. So I'm trying to think of an example here off the top of my head. Let's say you want to, actually, I'll just use our adoption example. So Dennis and I want to adopt. That's something we very much see in the next couple of years happening. And researching, right, we found out it's between 20 and 30,000. So I'm like, oh, damn, that's a lot of money, right? That was our first mindset. Mm-hmm. And at first we were like, we can't pay for that too, because that's what you naturally do, are like, no, I don't want to pay that kind of money. Then the more you think about it, you think about bringing the child home, what it would feel like holding that child, being a parent again, completing our family like we originally intended. And you have that feeling of parenthood again. So now you see 30K. What do you think? It's not that much.
Right.
I don't think it's that much. And that's because what happened? Our mindset shifted. So it's using that future state, whether it's something you want to buy, something you want to be, something you want to achieve, even as we're talking about health, imagining yourself as though it's already happened and speaking to yourself as though it's already happened.
Yeah. And then as you're talking about money too, I just thought of another like quick example too. When someone wins the lottery, I don't know what the percentage is, but most of the time the people that win that money don't sustain it. They lose
Correct.
it all, and then they end up going back to where they were before, because they don't have the mindset to have that money. They never dreamed of having that kind of money before. They don't even know how to act with that kind of money, and when it happens, they're still stuck in their old limiting belief mindset.
They're still making what they made working at the gas station.
Yeah,
in their mind.
Yeah, they're.
I'm going to just use a really low income example, I guess.
Yeah, they're still at a 30K mindset, and they just got dumped 30 million. They don't know what the hell to do, and
right.
like they can't. They're not that person in their head. Like it's that's why like we want to think that way before we even get there. We're gonna prepare ourselves to get there, plant that seed, and be ready for whatever we're going for.
Dennis doesn't even have a limit on it.
I don't know.
And I think what's challenging is this is a lot easier said than done, because mindset is mindset is one of those things that's a double-edged sword, right? It can be your biggest negative or your biggest positive, because even though you may not be saying the words out loud, that self-talk that we have with ourselves, we're the only ones who know what goes on in our heads. So it's making those efforts on your own, and maybe it's you're having a conversation with someone and you have to stop yourself. Let's use the example of you want to stop yourself even from gossiping about someone else, right? Like we all know we shouldn't be doing that. But it's not until you're in those conversations that you have to like dead stop yourself and backtrack to like reprogram your mind. I think a really great person to follow that I like to follow on like IG is Joe Dispenza.
I'm sure, yep.
Like talking about retraining your mind. So I think a great way, this is what works for me anyway. Say there's a state you want to be in. So let's say I should stop bumping the table. Say I want to be, or I know I want to be rank 8 Dana. And that's just what I see in the next couple of years. Like that'll go up with time, right? We're always looking for the next greatest and best thing, especially if you are more of a pursuer. So writing down, even on like a piece of paper, just doing like a big brain dump, taking that like 5-10 minutes listening to a song and just writing down, say you are that person you want to be. So I'm rank 8 Dana. That's the example we're going to use. And just brain dumping. Who would I be? How would I act? What would I pay for? Who would I give to? Where would I live? How would I feel? And just dumping that all down on a piece of paper. And I think that's honestly step one, because that's what really got me in that mindset. And those are the things that kind of started me stopping my behavior when maybe I would look at our sales or something for the month and I'm like, oh, I don't really want to be there. Or I wish we had more. And it's like, what would rank 8 Dana do? Oh, rank 8 Dana would do ABC to push her business forward. So it's almost something that motivates you. It's using your own self as your own competition.
Right. And it's not going to be easy either.
No,
like
it
just
never
saying
is.
like it sounds easy. Oh, just say positive things in your head and be nice to yourself. Like, and it's not easy. Like it's going to be an exercise every single day, just like working out and trying to build muscle. Like your brain's a muscle. You have to work it every single day, and you're going to have slip ups. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have fallbacks. But it's just consistency over a long period of time of just trying to sprinkle in those positive affirmations constantly are going to, in the long run, overtake, and you will rewire your brain to think in a different way.
And it's even, another helpful thing, and I know this is scary because no matter who you are as a human, you're always concerned about what other people think of you, but having those conversations with someone else. So for an example, I was driving up north with my mother-in-law up to his parents' hunting land, and we're talking about, she's like, oh, have you looked into adoption anymore? And I'm like, we have. I said, but I have a set goal that I want to pay $30,000 in cash. And I felt her next to me react to that, or I was like, oh, like I kind of caught her off guard. But it was cool because that was the first time, and I've said this out loud to many other people, right? But I've probably gotten a lot different reactions because I wasn't as confident. But this time when I said it, I had so much confidence in my voice that she just said, oh, okay. Yeah. And it felt good. But it took me many other times.
That confidence, you said it this last time to my mom in the car, which was just a few weeks back.
Yep.
To the very first time you said that to someone is completely different, right?
Completely.
Like totally different person.
Mm-hmm.
And why is that?
Because I believe it.
You believe it because you said it so many times in your head that I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and eventually you believe it.
Yep, I've said it, I've wrote it, and I believe it. And that's when when you say it, it was really a powerful moment. And it might have not been to her, but to me, I was like, wow, that meant a lot. And I came home and told Dennis that too. And that's when you can like see it on the horizon that it's something you can achieve.
Yeah. And just to be completely honest here, she's way further along in that mindset than I am. Like she works hard at it. Like every single day you're writing, I can see your journal right there. You write stuff down. Like you are constantly writing down those beliefs that you want onto paper, pen to paper. I don't do that all the time. And that's why I'm not as far along. Like I still have many limiting beliefs and I'm still working on them every day.
But you're a lot farther than where you were a few years ago. And you started a little later to give yourself.
Right. And I have the tools to do it. I know what to do. I just gotta, like I said, keep doing it consistently. Gotta consistently keep pushing and doing it. And thanks to, podcasts like this and like Tom Billy, like I said, like hearing that and like, oh yeah, I do know I gotta keep doing that. Like I know what I need to do. Like I get it. You just gotta keep working it. Gotta keep exercising that. And it's a daily grind.
It is. And I think too, like a lot of times, and I'm just going to touch on like even manifesting too, like Dennis would never do what I do. Like I can manifest and visualize something so hard it will make me cry. And I'm not a crier. I don't sit and cry all the time, but happy tears, oh my God, like that shit just gets me. But that's something, if Audit said this, even 2 years ago, I'd be like, okay, freak. Like, I wouldn't believe that would happen. So it really is something to work on. But I mean, as like a few takeaway tips that we can suggest, since we're both still working on it, I'm by no means like perfect. And I feel like I'm always working on mine. But I'd suggest listening to podcasts, right? And who's a few that you would name off the top of your head that are your favorites?
The Clean Up Power Couple
Yeah, I mean, that one's good.
podcast. I mean, honestly, Tom Bilyeu is by far my favorite one.
Yep.
Impact Theory, which is as his show us was called. I know you're going to say this too, but the Ed Milet show is amazing. Great guests on there as well. Those are probably my two biggest ones that I can think of right now. If you want to drop a few.
No, I mean, I would say same as Dennis, and you really just need somewhere to start. I would start with them. And then I think what's an awesome resource, I have mine right in front of me, and it doesn't always say hustle on the front, even though you kind of can't see it. I'm holding up, you guys, the Start Today journal. This is from the Hollis Company, and I know it's all about Rachel Hollis, but Dave Hollis has a book now, too, that I'm going to give a shout out to for anybody who has an entrepreneur couple, as like a couple working on it. I listened to his book. It's amazing. But I love this journal. It talks about 5 things you're grateful for, 10 things you see in your future. So you write them as though they already occurred. They are in future tense, so a positive affirmation. And then the end is, I have to think of mine off the top of my head. Oh, easy. The goal you're going to achieve first. And I write in this every single day. I do not skip a day. It's like a rule I have with myself. So I'd hit up that. So the Start Today journal. And then I think as the last one, this sounds silly, but this is something I really would start that would start changing your mindset, because we used to do this. Put sticky notes on your mirror. This is like the David Goggins route.
Yeah, the what the hell do you call that? The
accountability mirror.
Accountability mirror, yeah. Put sticky notes all over it.
And it can be maybe your first goal is just stop calling yourself stupid, or stop saying negative things when you step on the scale. Because what's crazy is you can eat all the right foods and you can work your butt out, but if your mindset isn't right, the odds of you losing the amount of weight or being in the shape that you want to are not as high.
Yeah, and I was actually thinking about that the other day, how diet, it doesn't matter what diet you do. I mean, we both love keto. Obviously, that's like our thing, but you don't have to do that. It's most of the diet, honestly, I think is like mindset. Like
Completely.
You have to be consistent, like with your diet. That just like with this, with like your limiting beliefs, you have to be consistent. Like consistency all the time. Like that is how you're going to win this game.
Yeah. So I would say, like, for that third thing, like the Post-it on the mirror, just so that gets you started. I think that's like a great way that you can see it yourself. And then my last suggestion is an accountability partner, because you'll have times like right now I can sit and say I do all the things and I'm amazing and blah, blah, but life happens, right? Like life shifts happen. Maybe jobs changes, deaths happen. I mean, I'm just being real. There's like a lot of stuff that can shift our life. And if you don't have that accountability person that says like, hey, are you okay? Or you're not sounding like you. You want that person to be able to check in with, because you want someone who supports your mindset. Because if you have the same circle of friends, what do they say? The 5 people that you're closest with. How's the
You're
phrase
the
go?
average of the 5 people that you're closest with.
Yeah. So if that circle of friends stays the same your whole life, but you are wanting to change and become a better person, something's broken. And it's okay to like make new friends and find new accountability partners. Not when it's your spouse, you're stuck with them, by the way. So your spouse may be a good person to pick, but finding those people that can level you up and help improve your mindset.
Reach up, yeah. And actually, that's what you just said is actually a great idea for maybe another podcast you should write down. If you want to change and better yourself, but your spouse is not on board with it, because you get that a lot too. There's a lot of people that approach us about keto and changing their diet, and then we get them into like our big thing too is lifestyle stuff. That's why we're doing this podcast, and we tell them about different podcasts and try to change their mindset, and then all of a sudden they're advancing, and then but their spouse isn't, and it's very hard to do that with someone that you're closest to is not advancing with you, but that's a whole nother thing we can probably talk about.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great topic, and we have not always been on the same page too. I kind of started a little bit before you did.
She did, and I could feel, I knew it was coming. Like I could tell that you were making changes and becoming better, and you were doing stuff on your own with your business and stuff, and I was still doing my same thing and doing the same dumb things all the time, and I wasn't advancing at all. And what I started to do was listen to the podcast. And my biggest thing actually was listening to audiobooks. I started because I did groundskeeping, so I did a lot of time on a mower. So instead of listening to just music the whole time I was mowing the lawn, I would start listening to audiobooks. And a lot of times, you might just zone out. You're not really listening to the book, but subconsciously, I was still hearing all the positive stuff that the book had to say. And eventually, my gears started turning and my mindset started changing, and I started seeing things differently. So I had to try to catch up with her a little bit. I tried to get lost in the dust.
My goal is always to be ahead, one step ahead. Cool.
So I think that was it. Yeah, I mean, I guess
today. Yeah.
Biggest takeaway, limiting beliefs, stop saying them, start saying positive things. And whoever you want to be, start acting like that person now.
And if you have a dud day, because we all do.
Yes.
I still have dud days too. Know who that personal development podcast or book or whoever, know who that person is or that handful of people are that can get you out of that space. Because that is the trick, is having something that, knowing that if you're having a dud day, there's a cycle of negative talk happening, right? You need something to abruptly stop it. Know what that something is. And for me, it's personal development. I don't know what yours is.
To pull myself out of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Working out too.
Yeah, I liked working out is a big one for me. I like to just get a good sweat on, get a good workout in. But also same as you, personal development. Like I like hearing someone talk about positive things and like hearing someone's like life story, like listening to like David Goggins, like how he came from nothing to what he is now. Like you hear that shit and I'm like, God damn it, like I gotta step it up, man. Like I had a bad day, like that's nothing. Like this is a big picture thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
I think that's it. We're at like 26 minutes, so.
I think we can wrap it up then. All right, guys. I guess we'll pick up next time. I better write this down. Spouses.
Leveling up with your spouse.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good name for it. All right. See you guys.